All right. Okay. Let's go. Get in here. It's Monday. We got hockey on Monday. Again. What the hell are they trying to do to us, huh? At least it's not 10 o'clock at night, right? At least it's not 10 o'clock at night. Ain't that right, Billy? Huh, Billy? Billy, say something. He's not talking today. So, how are we doing? So, Colin says E2's day to day with a lower body injury. Unfortunately, Uvis is back in for Sabrango. Can't say I'm surprised there. Gregor's also back in, and Samoskevich possibly on the top line. So beggars can't be choosers. We definitely needed to make a little bit of adjustments. Hopefully Sabrango gets back in. That's what I'll say. I think he looked pretty good. I think he had a couple of games where he wasn't spectacular, but that is the path of a young defenseman. Like, very, very rarely does a young defenseman just come up and get into the lineup and never leave. And so I understand. I was not surprised after what happened in the last game. It's not his fault. It's maybe you want to blame one goal on him. That's fine, but it's not his fault the team don't score more than one goal. You know what I mean? So in terms of Gregor back in, Gregor Cunnin, 6 of one, half dozen of another. Samoskevich maybe in for Verhaeghe. I think that's a good idea. I think Verhaeghe is just on that third, or Samoskevich is on that third line, just kind of languishing. And I think it's a good opportunity for him if that happens. And Bubba's in net tonight. Hey, Jameson. Yeah, we got the Canucks tonight. The whale team. Jameson says, I heard about Bob starting. Canucks leaning on starting the third string goalie tonight. Should be a Tarasov game. We just had a Tarasov game the other night, though. Not saying I disagree with you, but when we look at, let's see, where's my schedule? So we've got the Canucks today and then 2 days off, and then Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there's no back-to-backs. So, and we just had Tarasov when? Tarasov was against the Capitals, right? Yeah, and we got the 6 goals, and then Bob was in for the 1 game. So I think it'd be kind of a surprise. I don't necessarily disagree, because if you got Bob tonight, then you could have Bob against the Devils, Bob against the Oilers, and that'd be 3 straight games for him. Then Tarasov against the Preds, and then probably Bob against the Flyers, Flames, Leafs, and then maybe Tarasov against the Preds again. The lack of back-to-back, so there's no automatic easy spot to pick to put Tarasov in. Fossey, Panthers are in talks with Bob for an extension. I would hope so. I mean, we've been waiting for it, right? We would expect it. So hopefully that gets done sooner than later. Hungry says the Bolts taking that win like it was the Super Bowl. It would be obnoxious if it wasn't so pathetic. The things that I've seen on Twitter, like when did we break the Lightning fans? Was it last year? Like, I don't remember it being anywhere nearly this bad, to be honest with you. I see way more Bolts fans kind of Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs on Twitter and whatnot than I do Leaf fans at this point. I think it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's personal with the Tampa fans now. It's just like everything I see. Some dude could there could be a Panther player just standing on a corner minding his own business, and they would be ripped by Bolts fan on Twitter for, I think I saw them step on a bug. It's just gotten crazy. As far as says that game was no excuse. We played so bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. Colin says, I bought my first Panther jersey yesterday. Hey, that's nice. That's good news. Congratulations. Was there a name? Was there a name on it, or is it just a blank? My old ones are the blanks. I actually have a newer one that's a blank too. So I keep waiting for my reverse retro from Kyle. I don't think it's coming. Oh, it's good. Chuck, good job, Colin. Good job. Hungry says, to be fair, Leaf fans are getting a big old bucket of reality at the moment. I don't know what they thought was fixing to happen. You can't just lose a guy like Marner and replace him with Seth Griffith and expect, you just can't. The dude had, 115 points or something like that, right? Lag says, we only had 2 shots on the double minor. I had a bad feeling you weren't going to tie it. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. Yeah, Schrodinger, I can't say the name. Damn it. Yeah. He'll eventually not get it. I'll eventually get a comment out of him. He thinks I'm kidding. I asked for it for the 1 year and he didn't show up. And so I'm still waiting. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Vegas is not so hot with Marner. I mean, Marner is what he is, but it all depends on the players around you, right? Like we're seeing now without Kachuk, Bennett, and not so much. Without Barkov, Verhaeghe, not so much. You know what I mean? The players around you affects. So I think Marner was a good fit for what Toronto did. Vegas is just kind of it's a little bit different. But I think we've looked at Marner. I mean, his numbers are decent, right? Look out, Billy. Don't get too excited over there, Billy. I think his numbers are about normal here. Yes, I understand about the cookies. 20 points in 18 games, but he's an assist merchant. 4 goals, 16 assists, plus 9. So, I mean, in the stats that matter, he's doing okay. Doesn't have a lot of goals, right? What's he on pace for? He's on pace for about 20 goals and about 80 assists. So a few fewer goals and a few more assists than last year. Probably end up in like the 90-point range, 90, 95-point range. That's the player he is, right? Yeah, Marner and Matthews were a good pair. Exactly. Yeah, so it just depends on the comings and goings. We'll see. Now, in terms of, Jonathan Huberdeau 2.0 for them. Exactly. I was looking at the standings. Let's look at the standings here. Because it's not as, in fact, let me share it. No, I don't want to do that. Boy, I have been just a wreck today in terms of pressing the wrong buttons while I'm doing stuff on the computer. So, all right. So it's not as close as it was. And what in the hell is this thing atop the Atlantic Division? What in the hell is that? Now, every other team in this division should be embarrassed by this. Because not that the Bruins are bad, but you've allowed the team that finished in last place, worse than the Sabres last year, to go 8-2 in the last 10. And they're in first place alone, 12-8 with 24 points. The Wings got 23 points. The Canadiens and Senators are 22. The Lightning with 20. There's the stinking Panthers with 19. You got the Leafs with 18. At least we're not the Leafs. And then the Sabres, the lift goes up back to where we belong, or however that song goes. And then the Metro is a little bit more normal-ish. Devils and Hurricanes. Devils 27, Hurricanes 25. The Penguins not giving up the ghost. And why not? Who's going to catch them? The Islanders, the Rangers, the Flyers, the Jackets, or the Capitals? So we better start winning. We're out of time. We are 3 points out of a playoff spot right now. That could easily turn to, 5, 6, 7 points out of a playoff spot at Thanksgiving if they don't pull their head out of their ass. They're at that point where you guys got to start winning some games. You don't got to go on a massive run, but you got to get above 500 here in these next 10. You can only fall so far behind. We're 3 points. Okay. but it's still 3 points out of a spot. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to start creeping to 5, 7, 8, 9 points out of a spot. It's not good. Let's see. Hey, JC. Bill says Colorado versus Panthers Stanley Cup final. I'd rather play Vegas, but I don't think they're going to make it. Panthers got to pick it up a little bit. Like we got to have more consistency here. That game against Tampa, I'm so disappointed how they came out. First half of that game, they looked like they were just punked. Like they look, but they looks like they punked themselves. Like they just were not mentally engaged with the game at all the way that they should be. And even at the end, when Reinhardt does the drop pass to nobody, again, not mentally engaged in the game to the point where you're not thinking about, hey, there's an empty net. Maybe I shouldn't do a drop pass, no look drop pass. Maybe I should check and make sure Jones is there first, Sam. You know, very disappointed how they played that game on a mental level. Just kind of checked out. Real says the good news is Tampa got blown out yesterday. The bad news is it was by the Canucks who we played tonight. Yeah, I mean, Tampa, and it's embarrassing. They had half an AHL team out there, and we got a goal. And the only guy that got a goal is the only guy that gets a goal every night. It's Marchand. How in the hell do you got Bennett on the ice, and Verhaeghe on the ice, and Ekblad on the ice, and neither one of those three schmucks manages to put the puck in the back of the net against the Lightning? Come on, guys. Pull your heads out of your asses. JC says, so I got a 10-minute penalty yesterday and got tossed from the game. The other two guys didn't fare so well. I hope you got your money's worth, right? That's what I'll say about that. I hope you got your money's worth, man. I remember my last Little League game. I had never been thrown out in all the years of Little League. And so I stole third on purpose and got thrown out on purpose so that when the dude called me out, I would argue and yell and scream and kick dirt on him, and I got kicked out of the game. That's a true story. But I did it on purpose. The guy that was the third base umpire, his name was Kalos. And he'd always show up to the games drunk, but he was an umpire. Big, tall dude with like jet black hair. And I'd never given any kind of trouble at all. I said, I want to see what this is like. So I waited till I jumped. I left second base so late that they almost could have caught me in a rundown. And I slid, and I was out by a mile. What do you mean I'm out? You stupid son of a bitch. Started kicking dirt on them. They threw me out, but they were laughing too. So I guess they knew it was on purpose. Yeah, Shafas, we need to make the playoffs first. Real says some of y'all need to get comfortable with the possibility of missing the playoffs and letting everyone else rest for the next year when they're healthy. I mean, maybe, but how can I put this, Real? If the Panthers still make the playoffs, it means we got to stream other teams' games while the Panthers are not in the playoffs. And I don't know what kind of hate is coming for us in the chat when that happens, but I'm not looking forward to it, especially if the Leafs make the playoffs and we don't, and we got to stream like Canadian Leafs games. Holy crap, and hell in a handbasket. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. They got to at least get in and win a round. They can't do that to me. JC says 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 hits, and 2 KOs. In my defense, they were coming after me the entire game. They knocked on the door and I answered. Bill says, I'm betting that when Kachuk comes back as the Panthers' first season version, I think Talk to Tex got you there. The highlight was watching my Jackie screaming and talking ish to the other team. My team gave her the player of the game. He says, my old high school team had a pickoff play designed to hit the opposite team's first base coach who fired our coach in the past. You could say our old coach never knew how to hold a grudge. JC said, I'm not that kind of player, but we're very passive people. If you come looking for it, you're going to find it. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I get it. Never did manage to play hockey. There wasn't really hockey down there when I was that age. It was football, baseball, soccer. That's that's the three. Um, I didn't play basketball for obvious reasons. I'm not exactly Spud Webb. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Billy, calm down. Watch out, buddy, huh? So that's good. You got kicked out. You got at least you got your money's worth. That's all that matters. You know, I would have probably been a halfway decent hockey player, but the stick was probably taller than me. Real says, I call myself an optimistic pessimist. I think this core wins another cup, just not this year, like with all the injuries and coming of all the extra hockey plus the Olympics. So there's a decent part of me that agrees with that. You know, like you're saying, some people need to um, get ready with the idea that we might miss the playoffs. I don't know if my head's there yet. I think my head is at the point where we might have to get used to the idea that we're not going to win the third cup straight. Third cup straight. You know what I'm saying. Um, but in hindsight, should we miss the playoffs, you would kind of look at the injuries in the roster and go, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I'd hate to miss the playoffs, but then again, I'm not necessarily, who are we going to lose to? Like, I'll be okay losing to the Canadians or Wings. But if we finish in the wild card spot and go, can you imagine a Marchand versus the Bruins first round? I mean, that is entirely possible. That's madness. Bill says, I'm betting 4 straight cups. Barkov better get healthy quick, eh? JC says, I feel amazing today. You can tell I was holding that rage in for a while. I just kind of feel bad for the other 2 guys that had no idea what was in store for them. One dude was a one punch out. His teammate tried to jump me, but he screamed, hey, and I turned and I saw him coming out at the same time and gave him a 2-piece and a shake to go. Oh, I've had that happen, though. Not that exact thing. But just, there have been days when you're at the grocery store and the cashier asks you how you're doing, and you're like, you really want to know the answer to that question? It's like I dare somebody to say the wrong thing to me today. They usually don't. But I can't remember the exact specific circumstances. But I do remember one time that something similar like that happened to me where I was like, let somebody say, I was just having one of those weeks. Let somebody say something. I don't remember the specific situation, but I know I Tomoe Nagi'd his ass into tomorrow. For those of you that don't know, Tomoe Nagi is a judo throw. That was my judo throw because I could use their leverage against them. Okay, it's just one of those days, right? We all had them. We all had them. I almost started having one today, but I'll get it sorted out. I can't believe the number of tech issues I've had in the last couple of weeks. So I got Power Director, right? Power Director is my editing software. I paid for it. I got the whole thing. So Donna's like, hey, let me start helping edit some video. So I download Power Director to my other laptop. And they're like, oh, sorry, you got to pay for a whole new ass license to use it on your own second laptop. I'm like, what? So I researched it and I'm like, you bastards. So I paid the $80 for the extra license. Now I got the Power Director on the other laptop. But when I go to my account's like, I don't see no $80 license. You didn't buy nothing. You know, I got a receipt. So I'm sitting there fighting with that all morning. And I finally got a hold of customer service. And poor Donna's like, is it working? Is it working? And I'm like, you want to just not ask me questions right now, please. You know what I mean? I'm like, let me, I'm about to throw this laptop like a Frisbee. Please don't ask me if it's working right now. JC says the first guy, I kind of punked him after he went down as I stood over him and yelled, what do you think was going to happen? Yeah, it's like that. So back to the hockey standings. So we looked at the East. What's the West doing? See, the West is a little bit more normal. Avalanche, Stars, Jets. Look at that. See, that's a little bit more normal, right? Now, don't look at the Pacific. We won't talk about that. So, Avalanche, Stars, Jets. That's normal. I feel like the world hasn't ended. But then you got the Blackhawks right underneath, tied with the Jets, and then the Wild and the Mammoth Blues, Preds. Preds in last place, so all is right in the world. In the Pacific, you got the Kings and then the Ducks. They've lost 3 in a row. Damn it, Anaheim. How the hell you got Kings, Ducks, Kraken? What's going on with Vegas? They just can't pull their heads out of their asses. Vegas is 4-6 overtime merchants. We can't get an overtime game to save our ass. And then you got the Oilers, Canucks, Sharks, and Flames. So the Flames, man, they got 43 goals in 20 games. Oh, my God. They're not even scoring 2.5 goals a game. That's not even 2.25. That's not even 2.25 goals for a game. You know how bad that is? I mean, good Lord. So yeah, over in the West, the Avs are kind of running away with things, as they should. Honestly, when you look at everything right now, if Colorado doesn't win the Stanley Cup this year, there's something fishy went on. You know what I mean? Because right now, if the playoffs started, freaking Colorado would have to play the Blackhawks. Nice job. Poor Spencer Knight. First playoff real run is going to be against the Avalanche. And then they got to play the winner of the Stars and the Jets. And we don't matter which one of those two teams wins. They know you're going to choke against the Avalanche. And who in the Pacific is going to beat the Avs? The Ducks, the Kraken, the Kings, the Knights? Nobody. The Avalanche have that conference in the bag, in my opinion. But what do I know? I play with puppets. Hungry says, get yourself DaVinci Resolve. It's free and it's on par with Premiere Pro and quality level. So the thing about it, Hungry, is that I don't want to have to learn something new. I certainly don't want to have to learn something new and try to teach Donna how to do it at the same time. That's a recipe for a quick divorce. So, I mean, I've already paid for it. I love it. I love the program. Everything's fine. It's just their process to get it onto the second machine is just, it's like Mike McDaniel's play calling. It don't make no sense. Like, why would you design that? Why would you even design that play? Let alone the fact that it didn't work. Why is that play even in the playbook? That's what I'm dealing with them. It's like, buy the license under your email and then send it to the person that's going to use the other laptop, but they got to create another email account. But then once you logged into the software on one email, it won't let you log back out and log back in with the new email. It's stupid. So they owe me money. I want my money and I want my software. Now I'm going to bitch about it until they give it to me for free. Bill says, I think the Panthers game is great considering that no Barkov, Kachuk, and Verhaeghe. Well, yeah. So what Bill is saying is I think they're playing well considering no Barkov, Kachuk, and the fact that Verhaeghe and Bennett are no-show. Yes. If you removed Barkov, Kachuk, Bennett, and Verhaeghe from the lineup, I don't think anybody would expect this team to make the playoffs unless Bob was going to be out of his mind. So I agree with that. The problem is Verhaeghe and Bennett are actually playing. That's the problem, is they're taking up a roster spot. Now, Bennett has been mildly better. Okay? Like when you send a steak back to the restaurant, to the kitchen, and they send it back, and it's still kind of cold, but you're like, F it, I'm just going to eat it. Bennett's been a little bit better. Verhaeghe, he just needs to be sat down for his own good. This is 2 years in a row now. I meant to look this up. Is this son of a bitch under 5% yet? How far under 5% is his shot percentage? I'm about to get shocked, am I? Let's see. Holy crap, it's 4.5. He's got a 4.5 shot percentage. He's got 8 points in 18 games and is a -7. Any other player would be on the bench. You mean to tell me Maurice is going to bench Sabrango for Uvis because Sabrango had a bad game, one and fell down, but you got Carter Verhaeghe out there with worse numbers than I would have, and he won't kick him off the ice for a game. Call up one of these kids. Give them a chance. If you're over there in the AHL and you see Verhaeghe's numbers and you still ain't getting a call up to play for a couple of games, what's your motivation to exactly play well? Unless you're going to get done, you're going to get a sore diff deal, which, hey, I realize you guys ain't never going to give me a chance. Trade me somewhere where I can play. That's what's going to happen. Come on, Paul. I mean, that you can't play that. 2 goals and 6 assists, 8 points in 18 games with a -7. That's a dude that's hurting your hockey team with a 4.5 shot percentage. Get his ass off the ice for a couple of games and let him sit and have some pancakes. Go get a massage. Do something other than sit on the – and we keep feeding him the puck, and it's pissing me off because we ain't got the time. We don't have the time to putz around with getting him out of his slump. He's going to have to sit in the press box and fix his own slump. Damn it. Hey, Kyle, nice of you to wake up. How you doing? Oh, okay, that's good. Your football stream starts at 2 o'clock. Yeah. All right. Oh, no, what'd you do, stay up late again?
Yeah, but that's not the issue.
Oh, what's the issue?
This morning, I did one of my normal stretches of my leg.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes, the muscle pulls a little. This morning, it pulled. It didn't go back.
Oh, that's not good.
I almost fainted.
That's not good. Was it your calf muscle? Jeez. All right. Well, I got some stuff that'll help you with that. Some minerals to help you get that back on track. So, all right. Yeah. The only thing is if Donna shows up while I'm on the stream, help her get the groceries up. Okay.
There's only so much I can do. My leg is still stuck.
Well, it'll help stretch it out, but do the best you can. All right. Okay, so Kyle's on IR now. JC says, I agree with Bill. This way this team plays, they're a well-oiled machine, but when one cognitive goes down, the entire gear is running bad. Pretty much. Hey, Thomas, how you doing, bud? Hey, David. Mr. Krabs, there's a reason why the Dolphins win it on 4th down. Apologize to football talk. It'll be quick. The reason, Mr. Krabs, why the Dolphins went for it on 4th down is I've been telling you guys for a year the room is bugged. The room is bugged. And they knew that I had a 5-way parlay where I would have won $100. If he would have gotten that 4th and goal, they would have won. All of my things would have hit, and I would have made $100. That's why he went for it. That's why I was even more pissed when they missed it. Damn it. Hey, Real. I see the Bears are leading the NFC North. I did not see that, but I did see that they were one of the only 2 games I missed in my picks. I think I missed 2 or 3. Mr. Krabs says it's not the deadline, but can the Panthers make a trade? Maybe a defender? No. So, technically, yes, but we don't have money for the guys that we have when Barkov comes back. So anybody we acquire, we must send money back the other way. So that's the answer to that. Now, in terms of maybe there's a reason why Sabrango is on waivers, he's like 12 years old. He's only had 4 games previous to even being with the Panthers. He's a young defenseman. That's the way it happens with them. They're going to make mistakes. Generally speaking, young defensemen, if they're going to be able to develop, you have them on the bottom pair, but you're usually not having them on a bottom pair on a team that's trying to win a 3rd straight cup. Now, if we were Buffalo or the Flyers or somebody like that, I don't know why Ottawa got rid of him. He's got good tools. He can skate. You can see the ability there. I kind of not surprised that Paul is taking him out now to put Balinskis on the ice. And it wouldn't be all that terrible for Sabrango to sit for a couple of games and watch and kind of, assess and process the time on ice that he's had, because that was the biggest stint of playing time he's ever had. But hopefully he gets back out there on the ice, not due to an injury, though. And hopefully not because Belinskas sucks or something like that. But no, I like that kid. I think he's got a lot of potential. But generally speaking, young defensemen, they don't really start to come into their own till 25, 26, and that's with regular playing time. Yeah, the Canucks look good, Thomas. Yeah. You saw, Arun, that the Canadians are trying to trade for Tage Thompson. You sons of bitches. Hey, we can't win the cup every year, right? Real, yeah, I guess he's got a lower body injury. So, yeah, there's that. Hey, as long as it's not long term, right? That's the first injury you've had this year that wasn't long term. You know, Crash says expect a bunch of Charlotte checkers to get called up. I'd like to see a couple of these guys. What are we going to, why not? Why not? You know, we can't keep everybody for forever. So without Luosterainen, right? So let's see. Real says, no, there. Thank you, Real. That was exactly what I was trying to figure out, and you posted it at the exact moment. Lundell, Marchand, Mackey, Erod, Verhaeghe, Reinhardt, Bennett with Cunnin and Boqvist. What? Holy hell, Vancouver! If you can't beat this team, the third line is Bennett with Cunnin and Boqvist. Could we not call up Studnicka for 5 minutes and let him play? And then Schwint with Greer and Gregor. Oh, my God. Guys, that lineup right there, that's not a playoff team. That lineup right there, that's not a playoff team. It's not. What's the name? Change my mind. That lineup that Greer that Real just posted is not a playoff team. Change my mind. God damn. Yeah, Belinskas with Petrie. Well, 1 cup, 2 cup. God, just what I say all day long now at this point. It makes me feel better. At least it's true, right? Can you imagine if we didn't? Look, at least we're not the Leafs, right? The Leafs peaked with almost beating us. And now look at them. They're even in worse shape than we are. So at least we're not Leaf fans. At least we, we paid to go to the party and we took somebody home a couple of times. You know what I mean? The Leafs paid to get in, and then they got rejected at the door twice. That's rough, man. So at least we got our trophies and our cups and our shirts and our hats and the videos and all of that stuff. Because, and Real says next year is our year. Yeah, it wouldn't shock anybody. Obviously, at this point, if we don't pull it off. I keep hearing the thing about Barkov coming back early. If you bring Barkov back early, you have to move Rodriguez and Boqvist. So at that point, let me see. Barkov for Higgy, Reinhardt, Bennett, Samoskevich, Kachuk, Lundell, Luosterainen, and Marchand. So, okay, you've got a top 9 capable, in my opinion, of winning if everybody's playing right. But your depth is just sucked into a vacuum hole. Because now if somebody gets hurt, instead of Boqvist or Rodriguez, you've got Gregor and who exactly? Who? Right? Studnicka? Cunnin? Because the fourth line is technically supposed to be Cunnin. Well, I got Nosek coming back. If Nosek comes back, I guess then your depth becomes like Gregor and Cunnin. And that ain't Erod and Boqvist, as much as I give Boqvist a bunch of grief. So, on one hand, of course, yay, Barkov coming back early, but at what cost? Because if he doesn't come back to the playoffs, then we don't have to get rid of anybody. And then we still have Erod on the team next year. You see what I'm saying? And Rodriguez is, other than Marchand, the most important player on the team right now. That dude's got more energy than anybody except for Marchand. So I just don't see the benefit of it, especially you're rolling the dice at that point. Because at that point, the only reason for Barkov to come back is if you're thinking, well, we're going to go win the cup again. So if you don't, now you've dumped Rodriguez basically for no reason. And so I'm not saying I don't want him back, but, just start to wonder if it's really worth it or not, So it is what it is. We'll be okay. But Dave says if we lose the Canucks, we have serious problems. Well, I mean, we might have some problems. You know what I mean? That lineup's not spectacular. Lundell, Marchand, Mackey. I mean, that's our top line. And I love Mackey, but he's not E2 defensively. Curious to see how that works out. Erod, Verhaeghe, and Reinhart. We're going to need a big game from Reinhart. And then Bennett, Cunningham, Boquist. Who's putting the puck in the back? I mean, that's not I don't even know what you call that line. Like, is there nobody else? Damn it. Oh, well. It is what it is. Just in time for the homestand, too. And Luosterainen has been, he hardly misses any games. Right? Let's look at this for a second. He's always healthy. Yeah. I mean, holy crap. Starting with the first full season since we got him, 78, 82, 82, 80, and this is the first game he's going to miss. So, I mean, he is ridiculously healthy. We hardly are ever without his services. So, yeah, that's going to take a ding to the penalty kill at 2 as well. Real says, just please let the Leafs and Lightning miss the playoffs if we do. I don't know, man. Are the Bruins for real? That's honestly here. We're just gonna do this. Where's the thing? Where's the stupid thing here? Hold on a second. Let's just find out what you guys think. There you go. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Because that's the first thing we got to deal with. Is those sons of bitches. I mean, we're 5 points. If you would have told me, if you would have told any of us that a week before Thanksgiving we'd be 5 points out of the Bruins, 5 points behind the Bruins, you guys might have thrown your phone at my head. I used to live with somebody that threw her phone at my head, and it hurts when it hits. So, no, I can't believe that that's what's going on. So, let me see let's see. So, let me just go to the poll. I just want to keep the poll up. So far, we got 3 votes. We got 2/3 no. We'll wait until we get enough votes there. So other than that, we got Bubba and Net tonight. Can't really figure out when you're going to see Tarasov again. It feels like I'm sick and tired of saying it, but there's really no more time left. And how is Vancouver doing, by the way? Even though they won yesterday, where are we? So they're 9-9-2. That's better than us. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but that's better than us. There's a lot of teams that are better than us right now. It's just really sad. It's really getting a little bit scary. So this is our opportunity, this homestand. Okay, for how many more games we got? 1, 2, 3. You got the Canucks, Devils, Oilers. You've got to get 4 the next 6 points, because then if you could put that with 2 against the Preds, that would be 6 of 8. So disappointing how we came out in that game against the Lightning. And they didn't even, I mean, they didn't play bad. They played okay, but we just were not, we seemed, for the first time I can remember us, we seemed to be more interested in the whole rough stuff, retribution, and all of that garbage than we were in just playing good hockey and winning the game. That's usually what we do to the other teams. We usually irritate them to the point where they get out of their game and they're just too worried about the hits and everything else, and then we get goals. I can't believe we fell for our own garbage. But it just goes to show you, the whole thing here just goes to show you, we may not see it exactly, but the leadership of Tkachuk especially, or Barkov especially, and I'm sure Tkachuk as well, you can see that this team misses those guys. And you can see that there's nobody else on this team that would seemingly make a good captain, with the exception of maybe Marchand, because Bennett's shitting the bed, Verhaeghe's shitting the bed, Ekblad's not really doing what we need him to do. He's not playing poorly, but it's obvious that this is Barkov's team and then Tkachuk's team, and then everybody else is just kind of riding the coattails of those two guys. And look, we didn't win nothing until Tkachuk got here either. So, not just the production on the ice, but the leadership, whatever's going on the road trips, that these guys can't play good on the road anymore. And this game against Tampa, that's a game you expect our team to come in just locked in. Like, in my opinion, there's no way we come out looking like that if Tkachuk's in the locker room. He wouldn't allow for it. So we're missing those guys, not just on the ice, but significantly off the ice, in my opinion anyway. Mythical says, we're right on track this season to be where we should be. Chucky back in less than 2 weeks. Don't know what it is to come from the Barkov situation. Time will tell. Chucky back in 2 weeks? Where are we hearing that? I'm not arguing with you, Mythical. I'm asking. Where are we hearing? Where are we hearing that Chucky back in less than 2 weeks? See, I don't even think he's barely gotten on the ice yet. Vincent says they were interested in doing that shit against Vegas in the finals and they never learned. That's a good point. That's the last time we saw them like that. That's a really good point, Vincent. Yeah. Why am I throwing Bennett under the bus? He's being his normal self. It's just 8 million staring at me, I guess, because we need him to be better. That's why. We need him to be better. That's why. That's why I'm throwing him under the bus. It's his line mate that's out. We need him to be better. He can't do his normal stuff. The Tkachuk's not there. That's why. That's all. We need, the same thing with Verhaeghe, no different with Verhaeghe. We need, Bennett's numbers aren't as bad. Obviously, I'll give you that. Bennett's numbers are not nearly as bad, and I understand what you're saying, but he can't be his normal self right now. We need him to be better. Not much, but the dude's got 5 points in 18 games, and he's a -8. That actually is worse than Verhaeghe. That can't be. Now let me look at last season, his game logs in the first 20 games. Now you got me curious. So last year in the first 20 games, let's see. How many goals? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's the back end of the season. Why you give me the end of the season first or last? Stupid. Let's come back down here. Okay. No, yeah, definitely not the same. So last year he scored 2 goals on opening day. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, no, he's not doing his normal thing. Last year he started off like a bat out of hell. Starting with the first game of the year, he had 2 goals, none, 1, none, and then he scored a goal in 5 straight games. And then he went a little bit dark. But he's not his normal self. You know what I mean? He's significantly worse than the pace he was on last year. It's a big bus, though. Take a minivan. I mean, yeah, maybe, but it's bad, man. That's pretty bad. 5 points in 18 games. Like, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to be a little bit better than that. I thought Verhaeghe's numbers were bad, but Bennett is actually significantly worse. Yeah. Keith says, no disrespect, sir, but we told you Tkachuk being coming back soon for the Olympics. Too many U.S. players have been hurt. This was confirmed on Leafs Discord after Matthews went down. I don't think anything has been confirmed by anybody. I certainly wouldn't consider anything on Leafs Discord as being confirmed. They confirmed Bennett was going to Toronto for $12 million. The Olympics, somebody said 2 weeks away. The Olympics are what? Almost 3 months away, right? November, December, January, February. The Olympics are like 2.5 months away. I'm not saying he's not 2 months away. I'd say I was wondering why somebody said 2 weeks away. No, he has a choice. The Olympics are for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is. Real says, we all know Verhaeghe has been bad, but I think Lundell could step up a bit more too. Can't just be Baby Barkov anymore. Ideally, at some point, he's going to have to be the team's top line center all the time. I wish he'd shoot the puck. I'm not going to argue with you on that. That's accurate. I'm not going to disagree with you on that, is what I meant to say. He needs to shoot I've talked about it on the power play, right? Him and Barkov do the same thing. They come to the side of the net, and because the goalie knows that they're not going to shoot, they cheat to get to the Reinhardt bumper play, and then so yeah, I'd like to see Lundell shoot more too, for sure. I know, Vincent, Verhaeghe is the new normal self. I don't have to like it. You're not wrong. I mean, how does a guy just suddenly go from 14% to averaging he's below 5 now? I don't understand. Don't understand what happened to that kid. Mythical says, hey, Josh, might come up with a good idea, Flying Fluffy Panthers Discord. Yeah, I have one that was for the members. But then nobody really went to it because I don't have the time to engage as much as I should over there. You guys know that. But I got it on my other laptop. If I can get it up and running and get it set as public, I'll publish that for you guys. I had one made, but it was for members. 2 weeks from skating long. Yeah, 2 weeks from skating. Okay, yeah. That's what I figured too. The Tkachuk said they had a date in mind, so I'm gonna assume if we make it up, they don't know. They didn't say, but I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess. December 27th, the home game against the Lightning. That's my guess. That's my guess for his comeback. And maybe that's a little bit early, but that's the game I'm going to guess. We better get, holy crap, I'm looking at our schedule in December. We better win some games. We better start winning some games starting on December 11th. Well, starting on December 10th, we got them on the road against the Mammoth, then the Avalanche. We got to play the Avalanche on the road, second night of a back-to-back. Yeah. Then we got to play the Stars. Then we come home and we play the Lightning. No, excuse me, we're on the road against the Lightning too. So Mammoth, Avalanche, Stars, Lightning, Kings, Hurricanes. Thank God we get the Blues. But then the Hurricanes and Lightning again. Caps, Canadians, Rangers, Avalanche, Leafs, Canadians, Senators. Holy hell. We better get Kachuk back before then. You got to get Kachuk back sooner. I wonder if they're thinking maybe that road trip that starts December 10th. That's probably too soon. That's probably too soon because if he gets on the ice like after Thanksgiving, he's going to need at least 3 weeks. So maybe December 28th against the Lightning, December 27th against the Lightning. That might make some sense. Yeah, Vincent Uvis is back in. Yeah, Sabrango is out. Uvis is in. Panthers got to lose to the Blues. It's an honorary thing. 1 cup, 2 cups. We'll be okay. We'll be all right. Hold on a second. I gotta see what I'm hearing out here. Oh, Donna went to the grocery store. I don't want to make her have to carry in all the groceries by herself. Leafs have to play the Blues tomorrow. David says, again, as I said for a few years now, Sasha is easily the MVP of the NHL. You can see in how we play without him. Like I said before, the leadership, you don't see it. You don't see it. So, you see it, but now we really see it, right? Vincent says, to be fair, Sabrango pulled a cartoonish fall. That cost a lot. No doubt. I can't deny that. Not his fault. We could only score 1 goal. You know what I mean? Hopefully Maurice eventually gives him another shot. Vincent, you know this. Young defensemen, like young goalies, they take some time. They're going to make their mistakes, And he made a mistake. He got caught being a little bit aggressive. We've had games where Forsling and Ekblad have allowed breakaways the same way. That seems to be a structure problem of how we play. Teams have been finding that pass past the defense all season. But let him sit for a little bit. Hopefully he'll get back in. And maybe Uvis will be a little bit more careful with the puck now that Sabrango is there and could legitimately, maybe take his job too. You know what I mean? That's another possible positive outcome is that if Uvis can be like, oh, remember how Bob would be playing like ass, and then Spencer would come in and make it look like he was going to take Bob's job. And all of a sudden, Bubba would look great again. You know what I mean? So competition is good, But yeah, he had a rough. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Anybody could fall. If it was Ekblad, I'd totally blame him. But that's because it's Ekblad. So at least I'm honest. One hot gal says, Jaws, what's sad is his injuries almost certainly cost Zito his last chance at GM of the year. Yeah, I think the only thing that would make it more feasible, and I don't want this to happen, but, well, I guess I would. But if Sasha was out, if Barkov was out for good, and Zito had to go make some trades, and then pulled it off and we won the 3rd cup without Barkov, then maybe he'd get the GM of the year. But I think how he didn't win it last year, it's just beyond me. It's beyond all of us. Yeah. Vincent says, I don't mean to alarm you, but I really don't like Ekblad. What's funny, Vincent, is because, Sabrango's got some decent size to him. And when he fell, my eyes aren't great. My eyes aren't great. And so when the camera panned to him falling, Sabrango's 6, Ekblad's 5. I almost said Ekblad because I was pretty sure that it was Ekblad. But then I was like, wait a minute, was that 5 or 6? And then I saw Sabrango coming to the picture. I'm like, oh, shit. He ain't never going to see the ice again. Damn it. Poor kid. Real says Ekblad could also step up more, seeing as now he's the only healthy captain. Jeez, yeah. Mythical says, I just don't want Barkov to come back too soon and get hurt again right away. I can't be any more possibly torn than I am about that whole situation right now. But again, we could also, somebody else could whoopsies and be hurt, right? When we heard Barkov's going to come back early, hey, Verhaeghe, you just pulled a muscle in your back. You know what I mean? And he sits down. Hawkeye says the league sees Zito's success as lack of because of his drafting record. Yeah, as luck, right? Yeah, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I mean Lundell's out there shutting down top teams' lines, and that was Zito's first pick. Zito's first pick was Lundell, and who the other pick? Well, Samoskevich is a Zito pick. So, I mean, there is some. The one thing I always say, even though we gave Dale Talon a bunch of shit, but once we won, it's like you can't discount Talon's contribution because Bobrovsky, Barkov, Ekblad, right? Is Talon. We used Tuberto to go get Kachuk. That was Talon. We used Trocheck to go get Luosterainen, even though he wasn't the main piece of the deal. But that was Talon. He didn't make that move, but it was his. Talon drafted decently. Uyghur also was a Talon pick. Real says, if only Zito traded Mackey for Crosby, then he'd win GM of the year. No, please. No. Pittsburgh thinks they can win, and who can blame them right now? So Vincent says, can Zito unload Verhaeghe? If he could bring a hungry goal scorer to this team, that would bring us happiness today and tomorrow. So you have to pick up the phone and you have to say, hey, Carter, I know you got a happy wife and a happy life and you live in the perfect area and you can go to work in your flip-flops and you got 2 cups and all of that. But would you sign this piece of paper that we could trade you to Utah or trade you to Winnipeg so that you go live there and we're going to get somebody that we like better than you and give them your job? Like why would Verhaeghe sign that piece of paper? You know what I mean? That's really the biggest question is why would Verhaeghe sign that piece of paper? Because first of all, he's got to go home and explain it to his wife. Yeah, babe. So all the sunshine and the beaches and all that stuff that you love and all your friends and all that. Yes. So you ever been to Calgary this time of year? Like, how are you going to do that? All these guys got that no move clause. You know what I mean? So I hear you. I wouldn't mind seeing it at this point. I would just love to know, like, did something physical happen to him? I mean, I've never seen a guy just drop off a cliff like this, but then he was still good in the playoffs. So it's just an amazing combination of frustrating things. Sobola says Talon actually did make that trade for Luosterainen. I believe you might be correct. Let me see. Yeah, because I think it was Talon when we traded Trocheck. Let's see here. Let's see. February 4th, 2020. So, God, we got so many guys in that trade. I'm looking to see if they had a comment from Zito or Talon. So that's February 4th, 2020. Yeah, General Manager Dale Talon. Yeah, good call, Selflow. Yeah. So we traded Trocheck for we got Haula, we got Wahlberg, we got Luosterainen, and I think there was another player or another pick that we got out of that. I know Haula, Wahlberg, I mean, we got we made out on that trade. Chase Prisky. So we traded we traded Trocheck for Halla, Walmart, Luosterainen, and Chase Prisky. I mean, I can't believe we got 4 players for Trocheck. Was kind of robbery. One Knockout says we still need Verhaeghe and Bennett for the playoffs, even if they suck now. Yeah, it's a hard spot. We got to make the playoffs, right? Real says, because if he goes to Utah, he gets to hang out with his best friends, Nate Schmidt, Kevin Stenlin, and Vitek Vanacek. David says the road trip is irrelevant if we don't pull our heads out and start winning some games. Yeah. Do I think Trocheck should have been made captain? No. I'm in hindsight, though, right? Obviously, in hindsight, I think Barkov was the right pick. You know, just where we drafted him and Trocheck, just the fact that he got upset that he wasn't made captain kind of shows that he shouldn't have been made captain, in my opinion, anyway. You know, good player. I don't think he ever was quite the same after busting that ankle twice like that. And I just kind of feel like where Barkov got drafted and the position he was going to play, I think that was the right move to make Barkov captain. Obviously, in hindsight, we got 2 cups, right? Let me check this again. Make sure. Let me see. Nope. Okay, that's good. Vincent, yeah, and he's been passed over for it again for JT Miller. Yeah, there's got to be a reason. I didn't think about that, Vincent, but you're right. Yeah, if you got passed over for JT Miller, that says something, doesn't it? That definitely says something. I didn't think about that, but you're right. So, all right, I'm going to roll. So here's the deal. For the members, I've been doing a pre-game members only live stream 1/2 hour before the games. I'm going to move that to 45 minutes before the games because the half hour is just too short. I end up rushing to try to get everything done afterwards. So it'll be about 45 minutes before the game. So tonight's game is 7 o'clock. The stream will start at like 6:15, and then we'll go to like 6:50. That way, that gives me a few more minutes to go downstairs and set up Kyle for the stream and get the recap going and all of that. And I don't have to rush because Lord knows every night the game's on a damn different channel. Vincent says member sounds as a dirty word out of my mouth. Is that right? Oh, that's interesting. Well, I appreciate all the members. We got a whole bunch of new members over on the football channel. So on the football channel, I'm going to be doing a pregame before every Dolphins game too over there for the members. But that's over on the football channel. We had a good time yesterday. They actually won a friggin' game. So yeah, the members. Yeah, I got you. Oh, they're picking on an old man on a Monday. Why? What's wrong with you, Vincent? Huh? All right, everybody. Appreciate all of the support. Love hanging out with you guys at noon. And I shall see you all in about 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours. We gotta. Some of you can tell. Like if you've been in this channel long enough, you know I'm close. I'm close to a full ass rant meltdown here. They better start winning some games. Because it's cold outside. It's 49 degrees. We got like 25, 30 mile an hour winds. It's cold. Can't even go outside and get some sun. It's Monday. They better not blow this game tonight or the recap might be memorable. We'll just put it that way. All right. We'll see you tonight.